tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Up and get us pulling, but it won't touch me. Only love around us, how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Amadaya production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me.
Another Queen Amadaya production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Up and get us pulling, but it won't touch me. Only love around us, how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Amadaya production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Up and get us pulling, but it won't touch me. Only love around us, how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Amadaya Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Amadaya Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. Okay, so as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so now it's something weird going on with this live. I don't know what it is. It's showing me that it isn't live. I just called Desmond and he said that it is, so I don't know how this is going to work. Okay, is it going to let me end the live when I get ready to go out of here? I don't know. I guess we'll have to figure it all out. So with that all being said, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so with that all being said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. Okay, and you can also find it at walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. First things first, right as I was about to start the live, I told you all I'd be late sometimes because other things pop up. And it just popped up that Akon was arrested here in Georgia. Wasn't anything serious. It just says he got locked up, failure to appear for suspended license. Okay, busted. Akon was busted because he had a bench warrant issued for failure to appear for a suspended license, according to new legal docs obtained by TMZ. Cops said that it all started back in September when Akon was driving a Tesla Cybertruck in Georgia. Police say they were on patrol when they spotted a Cybertruck stranded in the middle of the road. They say Akon was the driver and he told cops the battery had died. Now, police say they called a tow truck to move the Cybertruck, and while waiting, the officer says he discovered Akon's license was suspended for a failure to appear from back in January of 2023. Cops say Akon was issued a citation for driving while his license was suspended and released from the scene. Now, the officer also noted in the report an illegal vape in the center console was seized during the inventory and submitted for destruction. So fast forward on November the 7th, and Akon was arrested on a bench warrant. Well, it looks like Akon just can't make it to court. So the locked up rapper was busted in DeKalb County last Thursday, according to the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office. Now, they confirmed it with TMZ. They say, we're told the Chamblee Police Department arrested Akon in the morning on an out-of-county warrant, and he was booked into jail and released within 6 hours. It's unclear what the arrest warrant was for. We're working on it, they say. Akon's government name, Alayun Thiam, posed for a mugshot in jail, and he's wearing a black hoodie and it's mostly expressionless. Mostly expressionless. Did y'all hear it? Here he is right here. Here's his mugshot. Now they know they could have let Akon go. I mean, he's already had enough trouble being locked up in the past, right? He looks like he did it, whatever it was. Okay, anyway, let's get into it. Now, while we're sitting here laughing, okay, and cracking jokes and all that, Claudette said riding dirty. Okay, while we're sitting here laughing and all that, the gag is going to be if I can't end this darn live stream, because I'm telling you, it's showing that it's not even started. This is going to be a whole hot mess. I don't know why I keep having these technical difficulties, but alas, let me continue. Let me continue. So anyway, you all know that Brian Daboll, or Daboll, however you pronounce his last name, he's been fired, and not a minute too soon. Okay, I never liked him anyway because, for one, he's always talking greasy about Shedeur Sanders. So a lot of people are saying this is his karma. Okay, and so with that all being said, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. The thing of it is, he has a bad record, okay? He has a poor overall record and a lack of consistent improvement. It's why they got rid of him. And like I said, not a moment too soon. Okay, his record with the Giants was 20 to 40 to 1 from 2022 through his dismissal in 2025. Now, after promising a first year a playoff berth in 2022, the team regressed. 2023 and 2024 were disappointing, and 2025 started 2-8. Now, the ownership had given him a kind of last chance scenario: improve significantly in 2025 or face the consequences. All right. That was pretty much what they told him. So during 2025, the Giants repeatedly lost games in which they had large leads, losing after a 10-point lead with under 4 minutes remaining. Okay, pathetic. Now, analysts pointed to decisions, game planning issues, and inability to close games as major failings. The team drafted rookie quarterback Jackson Dart in 2025, and then there were concerns about his protection, development, and injuries. There was also criticism that Daboll's defense and coaching style risked the young QB's long-term health and development. Sounds like Kevin Stefanski, or shall I say Stefanski, okay, and Shedeur. Because we know that man does not like Shedeur Sanders. Okay, that's just blatantly obvious, in my opinion, at this point. Now, while Daboll earned early praise and even won NFL Coach of the Year, the franchise and fan base expected sustained progress, not just a one-off. Okay, there was no consistency. He did good and then he fell off. He missed the mark, so to speak. And the ownership group, John Mara and Steve Tisch, signaled that performance had fallen below franchise standards. And so the firing decision came November the 10th of 2025 when the Giants were 2-8 in the season. They replaced Daboll with offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, okay, as interim coach. And the general manager, Joe Schoen, was retained and will lead the search for the next head coach. Okay, so the bottom line is his firing comes down to a mix of underperformance, failure to close out games, and a perception that trajectory, or shall I say the trajectory of the team, especially with the young franchise QB, was not satisfactory. Okay? Not satisfactory. And so the franchise needs to return to contention, basically. All right. So they're trying to change course, and they start by getting rid of him. Mel said Daboll is jealous of Shedeur Sanders. Of course he is. Of course he is. That's why this is absolutely his karma. Okay? This is absolutely his karma. He's always talking greasy about him, trying to disparage his reputation, saying disparaging things for him to fall in the draft. Okay? I mean, never anything positive that I've heard anyway. Sound like a whole hater. So anyway, talking about he had a negative experience with Shedeur. Is that right? Is that right? So let's go to what some people are saying about it. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go.
We've got breaking news out of the NFL. Giants have fired head coach Brian Daboll, according to our insider Jonathan Jones. The move comes a day after the Giants lost a 10-point lead the final 4 minutes in a loss to the Bears. Giants are in the midst of a nightmare season at 2-8. Bad losses, big injuries. Notables include Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatteraboo. Daboll exits after nearly 4 full seasons with a 20-40-1 record. Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka going to be the interim coach for multiple reports.
Oh, well, too bad and so sad. He's out of there. Okay, he's out of there, buddy. I mean, see, this is what happens when the Most High has determined that no weapon formed against you shall prosper.
And look, I don't know where to start, but let's talk about it. So when things happen to coaches, players, famous people in general, all these old videos start to pop up on Twitter or X, TikTok, Instagram. All these reaction videos, discussion videos start to pop up. And with Brian Daboll, the first thing that pops up is Shedeur and his pre-draft journey. Let's say pre-draft journey. Because when you go back and look, right, when Shedeur was at the bowl game, he had red and blue cleats at the bowl game practice, red and blue cleats. And everybody was like, okay, he's going to the Giants. Because the Giants were at practices, they were showing him that much love, right? They were showing him that much love. And we like, okay, Shedeur in New York makes sense, right? And then boom, the combine, the team interviews. And it was kind of weird. It was like, because all of a sudden, Shedeur, who's been preparing for this situation all his life, is now in the situation and he was unprepared. Then all these rumors started to come out. They were unprepared. He got an attitude, this, that, and the third. But they never showed what actually happened in the room. Now, they showed what happened with Abdul Carter. They showed what happened with Jackson Dart. But they didn't show what happened with Shedeur. And I found that to be weird. And even when you go and look at Jackson Dart's interview, Daboll is walking him through it. Hey, man, all right, hey, do what we talked about. Like he's relaxed, he's chill. Like, so I was kind of confused, right? So then draft day comes, right? And we know the Giants need a quarterback because Russ ain't the answer, right? So they go in and get Abdul Carter. Okay, cool. Then I think they traded back into the first round, and they're on the clock. So we're like, okay, they're going to get Shedeur because Shedeur shouldn't have fallen this far anyway, but they're going to get Shedeur. And they get Jackson Dart. And it's like, well, damn, what did Shedeur do in that damn interview that was so bad? Now, a couple months later, you're fired. Damn, it's crazy, boy. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, it sure is. Okay, it is absolutely crazy as far as I'm concerned. But here's the thing. Now, Shedeur falling to the 5th round pick in the draft and him consequently sitting out, at Cleveland, sitting on the bench, not getting any playing time and all of that. I think that this had a whole lot more to do. I think this has something to do with perhaps some money, not just the fact of them hating on Shedeur. Okay? I think it's a bit more than that. I actually think it has something to do with Jimmy Haslam. I think that has something. There could be some backdoor deals being made going on. You all know how they've had all these rumors about the NFL and shady things going on. So let's talk about it, because Jimmy Haslam wants a new stadium for the Cleveland Browns, basically to modernize the fan experience, create a world-class year-round venue that can host major events beyond football games. Okay, and provide economic benefits to the region, possibly, where they can have concerts and just different things other than football. He envisions a domed stadium with improved amenities like better parking, food service, and tailgating areas, as well as the ability to host international soccer matches, college championships, and major concerts. Okay? He talked about it. He did a video. Let's go to that video and hear what he was saying about this world-class stadium. Because Danger said, I'm sure collusion. Yes, I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that. And I do believe that Jimmy is a lot to do with it. Okay? Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now I'm going to put an overlay on here.
The most important thing you can do is field a winning team, okay? Then you want to give your fans a great place to watch the event. I take no credit because they did it before we bought into the team, but we have a great arena, Fiserv Arena in Milwaukee. We have a world-class soccer stadium in Columbus, where the All-Star game was last year. That's what we're trying to recreate with our Dome Stadium in Cleveland, and we believe we'll get it done. But you not only want to go watch a good game, you want to do it in a pleasant environment where there is good, reasonably priced food. You can get in and out of the restroom and in a hurry, because sports is entertainment, and we want you spending your extra dollar on sports and not on something else, and we've got to earn that dollar.
Okay, so you all can see that he was pretty excited about this new stadium. Seems to be pretty excited about it, if you ask me. So with that all being said, like I said, that could have something to do with what's going on with Shedeur. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance, because here's what I was thinking. Okay, so the draft, like I said, wasn't just about hate for Shedeur. I do think that the NFL owners absolutely were colluding, because that's what they're known to do. So it may have been about helping a certain owner, okay, get a specific player so he could use or close a huge deal. Now, mind you, Jimmy Haslam, okay, basically, Jimmy Haslam wants this stadium. And so now, mind you, the NFL teams get an equal amount or an equal size of national revenue, okay? $432 million each or at least from last year, from TV deals, licensing, and sponsorships. Okay, now, but the real money, that's local revenue. Tickets, naming rights, concessions, local sponsors, that's what owners actually can control. Okay, so now when Haslam proposed a new dome stadium in Brook Park, backed by $600 million in state funding, that wasn't just a football move, that was a billion-dollar play. Okay? Now, by mid 2025, Haslam's project was gaining traction. Rezoning, approved construction permits, okay, granted state funding, blocked in, but granted state funding blocked in, but to get final approval from the NFL owners, he still needed 24 out of 32 votes. So, with that all being said, well, this is where it gets funny because I noticed the timing of it all. Okay, that's where the timing gets interesting because the NFL draft was just weeks before the Browns needed to show they had long-term stability and marketing potential. Okay, so with that all being said, you got to think about the current stadium. Okay, the current stadium lease in Cleveland expires at the end of 2028. So between now and then, there will be two and a possible third NFL draft. Okay, with potential picks affecting the projected forecast of revenues and profitability. Now, Shedeur Sanders was projected by many people, as we all know, as a first-round talent. Okay, he had good stats, 74% completion rate, millions of followers, a top-of-the-line pedigree, okay, being Primetime's own son, having trained and practiced for this his whole life. Everybody thought, at least most people thought that he would go first or second round, but then he fell all the way to fifth, and people had questions. Okay, people had questions, but when he fell to the fifth round, well, that landed him right into Haslam's orbit. Then Cleveland ends up with two new quarterbacks, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Now, to Haslam, that's a good look for the franchise. And then it gives major fan appeal at the same time. See, they know that fan excitement equals stadium support. Okay, and a winning team with a star quarterback makes the new stadium funding look like a reward for their success. Now, however, if the team struggles or what's going on right now with a star rookie, getting no playing time, just sitting on the bench, well, then fans' enthusiasm drops. And so does momentum for these big projects. Haslam's challenge is to keep the owners confident and the fans believing, okay, keeping them hopeful. Because everybody's hoping to see Shedeur play eventually, right? So trying to keep these owners confident and keep the fans believing. It's the timing of it all. Okay, the draft slide, the stadium vault lineup, it makes it hard to ignore because this can't be just happenstance. Okay, what do you all think? Because I think not. Now, the NFL owners could have private common interests. They could have all gotten together, formed an alliance, have their interests all aligned and like, okay, we're going to get together and do this little shady shenanigan because this is what they always do, right? Haslam likely sought to find a vendable quarterback to elevate the Browns' worth, okay? To bring up their stock value. Now, this could also make his billion-dollar stadium project more appealing to investors because, let's face it, with this project that he has, that he wants, he's gonna need a lot of investors. He's going to need a lot of capital. So it just makes me wonder about the rumors for decades about, how they say the NFL's been rigged, shady backdoor deals, and how we all know some of these owners conspire and use underhanded tactics to protect their own interests and generate revenue. Okay? And by the stadium's completion, rookie contracts will be up. And guess what? It'll be time to pay the piper. Okay? It'll be time to pay the piper. So, that's just my thoughts while thinking. Danger says setting up building blocks to get the money. Exactly. That's what they do best. One box said create another stadium and get more players like Shedeur, make money. Exactly. And in the meantime, have Shedeur just sit there idly by, okay, using him to drive up their own stock value with everyone anticipating on him getting on the field. But when's that going to happen in all actuality? Okay? Now, with that all being said, let's get back on Trump because it has been the talk of the town today. All right. Trump has literally been the talk of the town. Everybody has been in an uproar about these nefarious emails, okay, that were released. And Trump can run, but like I told you earlier, he can't hide. That's what he can't do. And he's having some problems with his James Comey case as well, in case you all missed it. So let's talk about it. Because here's the thing. MAGA can no longer be in denial. They can no longer act like there's nothing to see here, folks. Trump can no longer just keep talking about a hoax and a con and a scam, because that's all of what he is. Because here's the thing. Now, we already know that just a couple of weeks ago, I reported to you all that JP Morgan Chase had reported Epstein, or had flagged a suspicious transaction, okay, that was linked to Epstein for $1 billion. You all remember that? Okay, so stuff is still coming out of the woodwork. I'm telling you, stuff is still coming out as we speak. And then let's not forget how Prince Andrew was stripped of his title. Okay, they're so embarrassed by him that they don't even want him calling himself a prince anymore. They want to just get rid of him at the end of the day. But Trump thinks that he can hide and nobody's going to say anything. It's not going to happen. They're even talking about Trump over in Colombia, as I showed you all earlier. Okay, and I want you all to pay attention, because President Petro called Trump and his minions, and including, he was talking about Epstein. Did y'all remember when he called them a PDF file clan, or a clan of PDF files? Y'all remember that? Did y'all hear him say that in that video I played this morning? He said a clan of PDF files. Okay. He said a clan of PDF files, and said that Trump was still, in fact, hold on, I just got distracted. I'm sorry. Now, this is strange. Okay, so I just got a notification, came up on the screen, said, "Are you still there?" Because it doesn't know that I'm live. It thinks I'm just sitting here. Hold on. Okay, so now it let me click the live. Okay. So anyway, let me continue. I got thrown off by that. Okay, so anyway, like I said, we've caught Trump in so much dirt. Okay, now everything is coming to the light. Because in the emails that we saw today, and the ones that I read to you all today, it's just very interesting how Jeffrey Epstein was telling Ghislaine Maxwell that Trump knew. So this whole time, Epstein was telling, Trump's been denying all of this stuff, acting like he fell out with Epstein, so long ago. He didn't know anything about what was going on. But he literally said that in the email, Epstein asked Ghislaine about Trump, and she said she was thinking the same thing. And remember the part where Epstein said that he asked Trump, or Trump asked Ghislaine to stop? What did he want her to stop doing is what I was wondering. So I said, what did he want her to stop doing? Stop bringing all those girls? Because right before that, Epstein said there was one of the people whose name was redacted, said that Trump had spent hours with them. Well, come to find out, that person he spent hours with was Virginia Giuffre. Okay, that's who that was, Virginia Giuffre. And so now remember, Virginia never really said that Trump did anything to her. She only mentioned Epstein as doing inappropriate things. Okay, and Prince Andrew. She never said anything that Trump actually did. But supposedly, that's who he was talking to for all those hours. Okay, and then when Epstein called Trump the dog that wouldn't bark, well, he was basically saying, he said that he couldn't believe Trump's name hadn't been mentioned. So what does that mean? The dog that couldn't bark, and then he said Trump's name hadn't been mentioned. He was surprised. Okay, that's what it was. He was surprised because by then, Virginia had already snitched on Epstein. She'd already said something about him, and I guess he was surprised that she hadn't said anything about Trump. But mind you, she never said Trump did anything. But also, he knew that Trump allegedly, let me say allegedly, because Trump likes to sue, but he also alleged that Trump knew what was going on. So maybe he was saying that dog hadn't barked because Trump hadn't started running his mouth. Okay. But why would Trump run his mouth when he was involved, allegedly? And also something else I thought was interesting. Did you all know that Trump's first wife had accused him of grape? Did you all know that? Remember the other day when I told you all I had some information about Trump? Yeah, that's what it was. Hold on. Ivana Trump. She said that Trump raped her. She had said that, and then she came back and backpedaled and said that it wasn't true. That she didn't really mean it that way, that it was taken out of context, so to speak. Okay. So we just know Trump's nefarious. Okay. We know about the Stormy Daniels, okay, the hush money. Okay. We know about the allegations from the lady who said she was 13 when Trump did things. Okay. We know about the young lady who was a former beauty contestant. And she said that Trump walked into the dressing room when they were in there, not fully clothed. We've heard all these things. And it's just amazing that this man is still in the White House. And not only that, he's running this country into the ground. Okay. And nobody wants to stop him. Nobody's going to do anything except for the lone judge, Judge Wolf, who resigned so he could come for Trump. But the Democrats are all running scared. Okay? Make it all make sense. But anyway, let's talk about what Ivana said. Donald Trump's ex-wife is disputing a story published. Now, mind you, this is from 2015. Okay, Donald Trump's ex-wife is disputing a story published by the Daily Beast that reported that she had accused Trump of rape in a court deposition from the 1990s. Yeah, she started walking it back because that's when he was running for president. Please pay attention. This is in 2015. Okay, and we already know what came next, his run for president. So now you got to walk this back so he doesn't look so bad. Goes on to say, I have recently read some comments attributed to me from nearly 30 years ago at a time of very high tension during my divorce from Donald. The story is totally without merit. This is what she said in the statement to CNN. Okay, please, peep game. Donald and I are the best of friends and together have raised 3 children that we love and are very proud of. I have nothing but fondness for Donald and wish him the best of luck on his campaign. Incidentally, I think he would make an incredible president. Yeah, right. He didn't make an incredible husband, girl. Stop lying. Okay, now the Daily Beast story, which posted Monday, said Trump's ex-wife had once accused him of rape. She later said that the alleged rape was not in a criminal sense. Okay, what kind of sense do you do that in? It's, unless, it's criminal. Please make it all make sense. Now, the divorce was granted on the grounds of cruel and inhumane treatment. Okay? That's what it said, cruel and inhumane treatment. I want y'all to pay attention because Trump didn't give a darn about his own wife. Okay, she divorced him on the grounds of cruel and inhumane treatment. And we're supposed to think that Trump gives a damn about America, talking about America first. We're supposed to think that he cares whether or not people starve, whether or not they have health care. Okay, please pay attention. Everything you need to know about Trump has already been publicized years ago. A lot of people just seem to look over it. But then again, Trump did say that he could stand on the corner and shoot somebody and people would still vote for him. And I guess he knew what he was talking about. But let me continue. So anyway, she has also been issued a gag order that bars her from discussing her marriage to Trump without his permission. Isn't that something? Now, Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, responding to the Daily Beast questions about the alleged allegations, said that you cannot grape your spouse and threatened the reporter, Tim Mack. He said, you write a story that has Mr. Trump's name in it with that word grape, and I'm going to mess your life up. For as long as you're on this freaking planet, you're going to have judgments against you. So much money, you'll never know how to get out from underneath it. Did y'all hear it? The threats of it all. You're talking about the front runner of the GOP presidential candidate, and as well as a private individual who never graped anybody. And of course, understand that by the very definition, you can't grape your spouse. Sir, I'm sorry, but yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay, he was going hard in the paint, sitting up here threatening this darn man and talking crazy. Do y'all hear it? But at the end of the day, sitting there lying at the same time because he's a lawyer, and I know darn well that he knows, okay? I know darn well that he knows that you absolutely can grape your spouse. And here's the thing. He was going so hard I was about to say he was going so hard in the Trump. He was going so hard in the paint for Trump. But what's funny is, or not even funny, but what's ironic is Michael Cohen reached his breaking point and ended up turning against Trump just like everybody else does eventually, sooner or later. Either they turn against him or he turns against them. Okay, but he never can keep friends. Okay, because all he does is use people for his own nefarious purposes. But this man finally reached his breaking point, okay, around April of 2019. I remember, and he told his friends that he was thinking about self-deletion. Okay? And he told them that he would never go to jail. All right? That's what he said. He wanted to take himself up out of here. Okay? Because they were saying his ties to Trump helped land him in federal prison. That's what people say. And then he ended up suing Trump. Honey, he was going so hard into painting all of this, all of that he was doing. And then look what happened. Look what happened. He was going in on that poor man, making threats and everything, honey, only for Trump to do him dirty, just like he did Ivana. Okay? Just a darn shame. And let's not forget how Trump's wife fell down those steps. Y'all remember me telling you about that, right? I'm sorry. Trump might be the boogeyman for all we know. Okay? At the end of the day, her death was officially ruled an accident by the New York City Medical Examiner's Office. Y'all remember? But the cause of death was determined to be blunt impact injuries to the torso. How do you get blunt impact injuries to the torso from falling down the steps? She was at the bottom of the spiral staircase and found by the housekeeper. Okay? Mel said yes, Trump had somebody push her. Goodness, you all are terrible. Okay, y'all said it, not me. I don't know if he has somebody push her or not, but I find it all interesting. I'll tell you that much. But anyway, let me continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And let me just tell y'all something. Here's the thing. Y'all know Trump is crazy because and how Trump is always ticking people off. Because do y'all remember that time that he made Roger Stone so mad? Y'all remember that he had first commuted Roger Stone's sentence, and then Roger Stone wanted Trump to pardon him, for the January 6th stuff, even though Roger Stone didn't even get, charged or whatever. But he thought that he might be facing some future charges, and he got into it with Trump and got mad. And do y'all remember what he said about Trump's daughter? And Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law. Hold on. Let me pull the video up. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. This don't have anything to do with anything. I'm just being messy right about now. Hold on. Just for copyright safety, I'm going to put an overlay on here.
Jared Kushner has an IQ of 70. He's coming to Miami. We will eject him from Miami very quickly. He'll be leaving very quickly. He has 100 security guards. I'll have 5,000 security guards. You want to fight? Let's fight. Fuck you. Fuck you and your abortionist bitch daughter.
Did y'all hear that? Okay. He went in on Trump, his daughter, and his son-in-law. He said Jared Kushner has an IQ of 70. F you and your abortionist bitch daughter. I wonder what he called her that. That wasn't nice at all, was it? Mm, mm, mm. So, I find that all very interesting. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. Cookie said loud and clear. Okay. I mean, all nefarious. Oh, they seem to have had a love-hate relationship for a minute because I remember back in 2008, Trump had talked real greasy about Roger Stone, called him a cold loser. That's what he called him. He called him a cold loser. And then Stone basically said Trump's appreciation may be conditional and that their alliance depended on usefulness and loyalty rather than deep affection. Well, Trump's always talking about loyalty. That's what he really cares about. If you're not loyal, you're going to catch hell from him. Okay, that's how that goes. But I thought that was so hilarious. Okay, so anyway, let's get back on track. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Let's go to the CNN report about the Epstein debacle.
Epstein mentioned Donald Trump by name multiple times in private correspondence over the last 15 years or so. These are newly released emails obtained by CNN that show Jeffrey Epstein bringing Donald Trump up in conversations with Ghislaine Maxwell and the author Michael Wolff. We got them after members of Congress got their hands on them after they subpoenaed Jeffrey Epstein's estate, which in turn handed over thousands of documents to Congress. Now, in these emails, there's one that is a few years after Jeffrey Epstein got that sweetheart deal down in Florida, where Trump is referenced specifically by the late sex trafficker. Jeffrey Epstein writes in this email to Ghislaine Maxwell in April 2011 and says, "I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Redacted spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." Maxwell responded and said, "I have been thinking about that." Now, the name of this person was redacted by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee because they say she is a victim of Jeffrey Epstein's. But shortly after these emails were released, Republicans on that committee identified her as Virginia Giuffre. She's one of Jeffrey Epstein's most prominent survivors who died by suicide earlier this year. The Republicans are noting that in her book that she wrote, she talks about how she met Donald Trump, but does not accuse him of any wrongdoing. Now, of course, Trump himself is not actually a party to these emails. He is simply only talked about in these emails, and he has denied any wrongdoing and hasn't been accused of any. In another email that was released by the committee, the author Michael Wolff and Jeffrey Epstein are talking when Donald Trump is in office. This is in 2019. And Jeffrey Epstein seems to reference when Trump was saying that he had kicked Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club. Epstein writes, "Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop." Now, that doesn't have any context in this release, but it seems to be a reference to what we actually heard from Trump earlier this year when he said that he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club. The White House says for being a creep, and Trump says because Ghislaine Maxwell was poaching women from his Mar-a-Lago spa. Now, all of this comes as in Washington here, a new House Democrat is set to be sworn in on Wednesday, which would make her the 218th vote on that discharge petition to release the files the Justice Department has in relation to Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay. So, basically the gig is up. The gig is absolutely up. And also, the audio from the transcripts when Ghislaine Maxwell was talking with Todd Blanche, that was released also. So let's go to that. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. When she was lying, talking about she didn't know anything about Trump doing anything or whatever.
Audio recording of Ghislaine Maxwell's interview with Donald Trump's Department of Justice has just been released, and in part of the interview, she said she never saw Donald Trump do anything wrong. Smells like a cover-up to me. Take a look.
I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
First and foremost, I gotta state the obvious. Ghislaine Maxwell is a notorious liar. She's been charged with perjury multiple times. And of course, on top of that, she's also one of the worst criminals in modern American history. So not the most reliable person when she's testifying to something like this. And additionally, I'd like to remind everybody that after this interview where she said Donald Trump did nothing wrong, Ghislaine Maxwell was mysteriously moved to a low-level security camp in Texas from her high-level security prison in Florida. She's getting a lot better treatment there. So look, I know MAGA is going to interpret this clip as a vindication of Donald Trump, but is this really the person they want to hang their hat on? Because I certainly wouldn't.
Exactly. Okay, exactly. Make it all make sense. At the end of the day, there's just too much evidence out there, okay? Everybody cannot be lying on Trump. Let's go to this next video.
Brand new revelations about how Ghislaine Maxwell, the longtime associate of Jeffrey Epstein, is being treated in prison. Now, Maxwell, remember, is a convicted child sex offender serving a 20-year sentence. Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee have just released new information from whistleblowers who are telling them that Maxwell is receiving special favors at her Texas prison camp, including, get this, customized meals personally delivered to her cell, after-hours time in a private exercise area, and even access to a service puppy. The Democrats say visitors to Maxwell are being allowed to bypass normal security procedures and in some cases bring in computers which could give her unsupervised contact with the outside world. Needless to say, this is not normal. In fact, as a sex offender, Maxwell shouldn't even be in this Club Fed style facility. She was transferred there from a prison in Florida after an unusual interview with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. Remember, he was Trump's defense lawyer. Representative Jamie Raskin, the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, says the special treatment is being orchestrated by the warden of the facility, who he says is helping Maxwell prepare a formal request to President Donald Trump to commute her sentence. Raskin says a top official at the prison camp is so annoyed that he complained that he is, quote, sick of having to be Maxwell's bitch. The Federal Bureau of Prisons and the White House have not responded to my request for comment. Raskin pointed out that the judge in Maxwell's case said she, quote, participated in a horrific scheme to traffic underage girls, some as young as 14, for sexual abuse by and with Jeffrey Epstein. But now, he says, prison officials are waiting on her hand and foot.
Isn't that something? Prison officials waiting on her low down, dirty, no good self, hand and foot, but all because she lied for Trump, in my opinion. Okay, all because she lied for Trump, in my opinion. And I want you all to pay attention, because earlier, when they were talking about the Republicans, that is, when they were talking about how the Democrats are trying to hide the names of politicians that are in the Epstein files and all of that, I mean, they're not the ones to talk. Because the main ones trying to hide the Epstein files are the Republicans trying to hide the information that, connects Trump to it all. Okay, I mean, it is amazing how they continuously try to flip the script when we all know that Mike Johnson, aka MAGA Mike, stalled as long as he could, okay, to keep from confirming Adelita Grijalva, just so they couldn't get to 218 votes. So, but then they want to sit there and keep trying to make everything, they want to blame everything on the Democrats. Don't y'all find that interesting? Absolutely nefarious. Okay, so anyway, with that all been said, oh, and speaking of it, yeah, let's get to that. Let's go to a couple more of these clips, because that same little lady that said that told her earlier, who was that representative was it that told that lady, we're waiting on you while y'all were on vacation? Okay, somebody else told her that. Somebody else told her the same thing, and she got so upset. And that's because she knows it's true. They were on a paid vacation. Like, girl, sit down.
Back from your 8 weeks of taxpayer-funded vacation. It's good to see you, and I hope
I'm going to
that
interrupt you.
Republicans
I'm going to
enjoy-
interrupt you, please.
Please.
I am sick and tired of hearing you all say we had an 8-week vacation.
That's exactly what
I
happened.
worked every day. I don't know about you. But
I
don't want to
worked
hear
every single
another
day as
soul
well. We all
say
worked every
that.
single day, and that's exactly what happened with Speaker Mike
Recognized,
Johnson.
you're recognized.
I hope that you all enjoyed yourselves while American families looked at their letters from their health insurance companies, terrified that their insurance premiums were going to double or triple while the House was out of session for 53 days. That is unacceptable, Madam Chair. Now, we are back here to vote on a terrible partisan spending bill that will deepen a healthcare crisis that you did create. By first stripping away Medicaid from 15 million people, that is a fact. I'm sorry that you deny that fact, but that is a fact of the matter in the bill. And by refusing now to extend the Affordable Care Act, healthcare premium subsidies that keep coverage affordable for American families. And you also did all of this while engineering the most unprecedented transfer of wealth from the working class and poor Americans to the wealthiest people in this country. That is another fact. The Republican shutdown lasted 41 days. It is the longest shutdown in American history. 41 days of unpaid federal workers and families losing access to food assistance.
Okay, please pay attention to how she called it the Republican shutdown. Because that's exactly what it was. But the Republicans want to call it the Democrat shutdown or the Schumer shutdown, okay? Trying to pass the buck.
41 days of families skipping meals and seniors delaying care because Donald Trump chose to use hunger and healthcare as leverage. The callousness and corruption is astounding. Donald Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson, throughout this entire time, did absolutely nothing. They did not lift a finger to try to negotiate a real solution on any of this. What was Donald Trump doing during this time? I know that he announced plans for his $350 million ballroom funded by billionaires and corporations. I know that he was traveling around the world to Asia. He hosted a huge Great Gatsby party. I don't know if anyone here was invited. The night before, 42 million Americans lost access to SNAP assistance. He is acting like a king while millions of people in this country are suffering. That is unacceptable. And Speaker Mike Johnson, throughout this time, he has not just enabled this corruption, he has actively participated in it. That's why I staked outside of his office last week, to be absolutely clear about what's been happening. Mike Johnson is starving Americans and gutting healthcare to cover up the Epstein files. And I want to explain exactly why and how he's doing so, because the public deserves to understand it very clearly. Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva, who is from my state of Arizona, would be and will be the 218th signature on the discharge petition. 218 is the number needed to force a vote on the floor, whether the speaker wants one or not. And when Adelita is seated tomorrow, finally, after 49 days since she was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, Speaker Johnson's going to lose control. Because then every single member of Congress on the Republican side and our side will have to go on the record and answer one very simple question. Do you want to support and protect the release of the Epstein files, or do you want to protect the names of the men who were involved in the crimes? That's the vote that Speaker Johnson has been running from. There's been plenty of reporting that the White House and Speaker Johnson have been actively working throughout this entire period to threaten the 4 Republican members of Congress who are on the discharge petition, to get one of them to come off of that discharge petition, because that is their number one priority. That's what's been happening. It is a cover-up, and Speaker Johnson must and should be investigated.
Right. She said he must and should be investigated. I have to agree. I absolutely have to agree. But I want you all to check out this congressional candidate right here. He literally was ignoring this reporter who was pummeling him with Epstein questions, honey. He acted like he could not hear. He was looking like, if I just look straight ahead and don't give him eye contact, maybe he'll just go away. Maybe he won't see me. All so nefarious. Check him out.
Matt, funny running into you here, Matt. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good.
How are you?
So Afton was on with us yesterday, and she said that Speaker Johnson is waiting for you to get there so you can cancel out Adelita Grijalva's vote on the Epstein files. What do you think about that? Does that sound right to you? Do you think that's Speaker Johnson's plan? Why was it so hard for you to answer the Epstein files question, Matt? Is that why they put $2 million into your race so that you would go there and help cover up the Epstein files? This is a simple question. You said you're for transparency. Why not just be strong about that, Matt? Why do you have to hem and haw so much?
Said him and haw.
Do you think that's the plan, Matt, to get you up there to cancel out Adelita Grijalva? The silence thing doesn't work very well. It just makes you look bad. That's what you're going to learn if you get up there. It's better just to give me the line that they gave you. Whatever line they gave you, you should use that line, Matt, right now. This is the time to do it. Being silent isn't a good look. It doesn't work. It just makes you look guilty. I'm trying to help you. Just say the line. Whatever they gave you to say, just say it. Matt, the Epstein files, even your own people care about the Epstein files. All right, it's great talking to you, Matt.
So Don, he just harassed that poor man. That man just kept it moving. Okay. He just kept looking straight ahead. Oh, he was on him. Okay. And then he told him it's not a good look. Okay. Whatever line they gave you. This I am from the UK said, Queen, the funniest one was Elizabeth Warren running away from the reporter. Okay. Absolutely. Oh, no. The funniest one, that one was definitely funny. But the funniest thing for me was when Mitch McConnell fell in slow motion that day. Do y'all remember that? I don't think they were asking him about the Epstein files, or were they? But it was funny as hell, okay? He fell so slowly. I thought he was just trying to, crawl on in his casket. Okay, so now let's go to Josh Shapiro, because Josh Shapiro went all in on Mr. J.D. Vance. Vince said, I remember that, Queen. Okay, it was hilarious. Okay, so let's go to it, because why is Josh going in on J.D. Vance? He's calling him all kinds of nefarious VPs.
As a president, a vice president that don't give a damn about all Americans. They have made that crystal clear. And I mean, at least with Donald Trump, he's transparent about that. J.D. Vance is a total phony. And let me explain why. J.D. Vance rose to some prominence by writing a book about growing up in Appalachia, where there's a whole lot of people who get snapped. He made millions of dollars on the backs of telling their stories, and then he turned his damn back on those very people who he likes to write about and claim as his own. Here's another thing J.D. Vance claims. He claims to be a person of faith. I know my Bible, and my Bible teaches us that we are to love thy neighbor, and we are to feed the hungry. Deuteronomy says, if you see a person who is in need, you don't give them a clenched fist, you open up your hand. So for J.D. Vance now to turn around after claiming all these things his whole life and literally go to court to stop hungry people from eating, that is not only phony, it is shameful. And this is who is leading America today. And folks got to wake up and realize the people who are leading in America quite literally want to keep people hungry. And you'll excuse me for getting emotional about it, but when I see hungry people in my state who are hungry because of J.D. Vance's bullshit politics, that makes me angry. And that's why I went to court. And that's why we're funding Share. And that's why we're putting dollars back on people's SNAP cards, because that's what the people of Pennsylvania deserve, and America deserves better than J.D. Vance.
Oh, honey, he let him have it, didn't he? He let him have it. Now, see, that's who Kamala should have had as her running mate. I feel like Kamala thought that Josh Shapiro would outshine her because he's such a good speaker and all that. But, honey, he let him have it. Okay, as he should. As he should have, in my opinion. Okay? And here's the thing. Speaking of Kamala, I want you all to pay attention, because I may just read Kamala's book to you all, for those of you who have memberships, because Kamala is going in on everybody in that book. She's blaming everybody except herself. She's blaming everybody except herself. She's not taking any accountability at all. When she's talking greasy, okay, about Obama, Michelle, okay, I just find it all interesting. Even went in on Tim Walz. He wasn't her first pick, she says. I find it all interesting. Okay, so anyway, we're almost out of here. Last story for tonight. Former Pirates pitcher indicted on allegations of fraud, rigging pitches. Honey, what do they think of next? He must not know about Pete Rose, how he was permanently banned from baseball. Okay, the integrity of baseball has been rocked and challenged, they say. Honey, that happened a whole long time ago, decades ago. So this week, 2 major league pitchers were indicted on federal fraud allegations stemming from allegedly rigging pitches in an illegal gambling scheme. Now I want you all to pay attention because we just had that whole debacle, okay, with those NBA players getting caught in a whole gambling fraudulent ring that was orchestrated supposedly by the mafia. What's going on here? Are all of these sports just rigged? But yet y'all men be all into it every weekend. But let me continue. It goes on to say Cleveland Guardians pitcher Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz are both facing up to 65 years in prison if convicted on all charges of wire fraud conspiracy, honest services wire fraud conspiracy, conspiracy to influence sporting contests by bribery, and money laundering conspiracy. Ortiz was arrested in Boston, where he has a home, and made his first court appearance on Monday. Clase has not been taken into custody at this time. Now, they go on to say that here's what the indictment says. The charges in the indictment are allegations, and the defendants are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. If convicted, each defendant faces a maximum sentence of 20 years imprisonment on the wire fraud conspiracy count, 20 years imprisonment on the honest services wire fraud conspiracy count, 5 years imprisonment on the conspiracy to influence sporting contest by bribery count, and 20 years imprisonment on the money laundering conspiracy count. Ooh, Lordy Lord. Both pitchers were placed on administrative leave in July, with their leave of absences being extended in August for both players to remain out through the end of the season. Now, during this span, the league was investigating a series of suspicious pitches in which either pitcher would throw a ball nowhere near the strike zone in an effort to satisfy the bettors who were betting on first pitch balls over strikes. Do y'all hear this? Oh, the corruption runs deep. Though a majority of the investigation is related to incidents that occurred in 2025, the indictment details instances far from as early as 2023, when bettors were winning on pitches that Clase had thrown. Now, on 3 pitches alone from 2023, the winnings totaled out to over $100,000. Whew, honey. Although Ortiz was placed on leave before Clase, there were 8 instances directly correlated with Clase versus just 2 from Ortiz, which would suggest that the former was the primary target of this string of illegal gambling. Ortiz was only just acquired by Cleveland in December of 2024, with Clase being with the club since 2021. He just got in good last year and already effing up. Wow. United States Attorney Joseph Nacella Jr. released a statement regarding the alleged gambling, saying professional athletes like Luis Leandro Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase de la Cruz had a position of trust, not only with their teammates in their professional leagues, but with fans who believe in fair play. Okay, Nacella Jr., this is what Nacella Jr. said. As alleged, the defendants sold that trust to gamblers by fixing pitches. In doing so, the defendants deprived the Cleveland Guardians and Major League Baseball of their honest services. They defrauded the online betting platforms where the bets were placed, and they betrayed America's pastime. Integrity, honesty, and fair play are a part of the DNA of professional sports. Really? Because I can't tell, at least not in the United States. But I digress. When corruption infiltrates the sport, it brings disgrace not only to the participants, but damages the public trust in an institution that is vital and dear to us all. Today's charges make clear that our office will continue to vigorously prosecute those who corrupt sports through illegal means. Now, following an 80-game suspension for violating the MLB's anti-doping policy, Clase had seemed to right the ship on his career. He would rebound with Cleveland after being traded by the Texas Rangers and serving out his suspension to become one of the best relievers in baseball. Still, though, much of the evidence suggests that Clase was the driving force behind the rigging. He was the mastermind, supposedly. Luis Ortiz was traded from Pittsburgh to Cleveland during his past offseason in the Spencer Horwitz deal. Now, at the time, many thought the Pirates were giving up far too much in the trade. Ortiz was rising was a rising prospect in Pittsburgh's system and had enjoyed decent results while with the club. Meanwhile, Horwitz was damaged goods and with very little major league experience. Now, with that being said, the Pirates are experiencing a rare win given Ortiz's current situation, as $63,000 was allegedly won because of his rigging of his pitches. Now, despite the legalization of sports betting across the United States, the MLB and other sports leagues still have rules and regulations limiting their athletes, what their athletes can and can't gamble on. Major League Baseball has their own dark history of illegal gambling, with Pete Rose and several members of the 1919 Black Sox receiving lifetime bans that were only just lifted earlier this season following the passing of Rose. Honey, they didn't lift the ban until he was dead, okay? So anyway, professional sports have always had a complicated relationship with gambling, and this is just another unfortunate instance of that. It's an incredibly selfish act on the part of the athletes that are accused of altering America's pastime in such a blatant and disrespectful manner. Y'all hear it? Out here gambling and letting people bet on pitches, so they're out here throwing pitches, pun intended, okay? Pun intended, out here throwing the pitches. Wow. But you know what? I figured stuff like this goes on. I mean, we've seen it in movies and shows. If you all remember Hit the Floor about the basketball players, honey, they were showing stuff like this going on. So I knew they got it from somewhere. Usually these plot twists come from real life scenarios. Okay, so with that all being said, now that we know about the NBA involved in shady practices, and now that we know about baseball, well, only seems fair to say and suggest that the NFL does the same thing. Okay? That the NFL does the same thing. I mean, are these games even worth watching if all they're doing is cheating, fixing plays, and all of that? Throwing games so that people can win money? That's more important than winning legitimately and earning your keep? I guess so. The end of the day, we the people said MLB just not overcoming the Roids era with Barry Bonds in them. Cyrus said, "You're an excellent reader. I love it." Thank you, beloved. Okay, so listen, that's the news for now. I hope you all enjoyed it. I will be right back in the morning with your morning wake-up call. Okay? I just want y'all to think about this because, try though he might, Trump cannot escape his past, okay, with Epstein. And we're not going to let him escape it, are we, beloveds? We're not going to let him. And though he can keep up with the distractions, he can try to start wars with Nigeria. Okay, he can try to raise the tariffs on China. He can talk trash about Venezuela. He can bomb boats and do all these nefarious things. Okay? He can have them build that nefarious ballroom at the White House that he keeps yapping about. He can go over to Japan and get gold golf balls and crowns. He can do all of that. But none of it, I repeat, none of it is going to stop us from being fixated on the Epstein debacle. All right? And at this point, it's really the end of the road for Trump with the lies of it all. Because Jeffrey Epstein said in that email that Trump knew exactly what was going on. He knew exactly what time it was. And Ghislaine Maxwell's not fooling anyone by lying, saying that she's never seen Trump do anything nefarious. Okay? Another thing, too, that I was going to say is I have questions as to whether or not that was actually Ghislaine Maxwell, or not Ghislaine Maxwell, but actually Virginia Giuffre that Trump spent hours with. I have questions because that's what they told us. But again, the name is redacted. So here's the thing. If they were going to redact the name, why then would they come out and tell us who the person was? How does that even make sense? If it was actually Virginia Giuffre, why did they redact her name to only come out and tell us it was her? And we already knew that she was a victim. So why would they redact it anyway? And she's deceased. So that just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, that does not make any sense to me. I'm thinking that perhaps it wasn't Virginia Giuffre that Trump was talking to for hours. Perhaps it was somebody else who doesn't want their name to mention, because I find it all so interesting, don't you? Okay, it just sounds all sketchy. They redact the name and then tell us who the person was. Yeah, make that make sense. Okay, so anyway, the truth's going to keep coming out, Trump. You can run, but you can't hide. We're on to you. Okay, so with that all been said, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this evening. I will see you all tomorrow morning with your morning wake-up call. Until then, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got